Hello and welcome to GBN Live. I'm your host, Tracy Hansen. I'm with the Saybrook chapter of GBN. So what's up, Saybrook? Thanks for joining us today. I would like to thank our sponsor, Grand Strand Law Group. They have offices in Myrtle Beach and North Myrtle Beach, and they're ready to be your trusted advisor. They can help you with all your real estate needs, as well as probate, trusts, wills, things of that sort. So you can give them a call at 843-492-5422. Also grandstrandlawgroup.com. And don't forget to give us permission. So you can leave your comments in the comment section, any questions that you have for today's guest, but you may have to grant us permission to show that. So you can go to streamyard.com/Facebook, and that will grant us permission to show your comments. So feel free to ask any questions. Today's guest is Tim Nolan with Coastal ReFocus. And he is with the Coastal Grand chapter of GBN. So shout out to them too. What's up?
Coastal Grand.
And we'll be back in just a moment with Tim. So stay tuned. GBN Live is next. Hi, welcome back. Okay, so today we are with Tim Nolan with Coastal ReFocus. But before we get into the meat and potatoes of that, tell us a little bit about yourself, Tim, and welcome to our studio. We're happy to have you. So where are you originally from, your family, a little background?
Thanks, Tracy, for the welcome. I'm happy to be here. I'm originally from East Tennessee. We always have to differentiate Tennessee if you're from the eastern part or the middle part or the western part. So I'm from Oak Ridge, Tennessee.
I've actually noticed that.
Part. Yeah, it's a weird thing, Tennessee thing.
Yeah, okay, very good. How long have you been here?
I don't know why this is always a riddle for me anytime anyone asks me. I want to say it's been about 8 years now.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. My wife's a realtor and I have a corporate day job, and I'm working my way to becoming full-time real estate photographer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So why did you make the decision then to get into photography if it's something that you're kind of transitioning to?
I'll be 57 in June. I know that's probably a cardinal sin to say those kind of things on public broadcast, but I worked in corporate life as an engineer with IBM for many years.
Okay.
And when my wife and I moved to Myrtle Beach 8 years ago, I knew that I needed to have a plan B. I needed to have something else to be able to go do, and something that didn't require me to rely on corporate America for my day-to-day.
Mm-hmm.
So my wife always knew she wanted to be a realtor, and I toyed with that idea of being a realtor, and I knew that there could not be two realtors in our house together.
Right.
So I honestly just stumbled on real estate photography and took a class, and here I am today, 3 years later.
That's pretty interesting because what a difference from what you were doing to go from
Totally.
that end working with IBM to get into the creative photography,
Right.
use the other side
I
of your
love
brain
it.
kind of thing.
Right.
That's fantastic. And one thing I don't think people really understand, that because they do have their phones and the cameras take great pictures for what they need it to do, but to really get into it, equipment costs a lot, and there's a lot of trends, and which I'm sure are all expensive and that kind of thing. So why is it important, for your clients to know that you stay on top of these things and that these trends, in the industry?
Right. It's like any technology-based profession. The technology is always evolving, and if I don't stay on top of that technology, I can get left behind by my competition.
Sure.
So it's important that I stay up on what the latest is, be it property reels using my phone as a basis, or 3D tours, or just the proliferation of social media.
Right.
And how so much of what we do is it can be helped or it can be hurt with social media. So
right.
Yeah.
So much of what we do is in pictures.
It's crazy.
It is crazy.
Videos, right.
Crazy. And the technology moves at lightning speed. So, something that comes out is already outdated,
right.
2 days later. So, but before we do get into that and the real estate photography, that's not all you do. So I know you recently did the headshots for our board members for GBN. So let's talk a little bit about that and the headshots and that kind of thing that you
Yeah,
do.
I try to be a one-stop shop for realtors.
Mhm.
That was how my
Yay.
philosophy started. And it's grown now into not just photos for real estate. It's grown into headshots for realtors, because we
Mhm.
all need headshots,
Mhm.
right? If you think about all the social media platforms, everyone needs a good headshot.
Yes.
And there's lifestyle media that we can help support, which is kind of is you, the realtor, walking around a property and doing some decorating things or whatever. It's a
Interesting.
kind of a quirky little, in my opinion, it's a quirky little thing in real estate, but it really does show people who you are, and being relatable to people is so important these days. And that's
Mhm.
one of the cool things about social media.
Right.
And
It goes
taking
along with
advantage
one
of
of those trends that you have to keep on top of,
Right.
Because they're coming out like that,
Right. Right.
So I didn't even know about that. I'm a
Yep.
realtor, so
Yep.
yeah, for sure. So I've heard a lot too, and I don't quite understand it, about HDR,
Mhm.
high dynamic range
Yep.
photography. So what is that really? What does that mean?
So there's a whole lot of lingo. I don't want to bore you with too much of it, but I did bring my notes, so I've got my cheat notes. I wanted to get it right when I talk through it. It's dynamic range is simply um, a range of highs and lows of a photo, the bright spots, the dark spots,
Okay.
all that stuff. And high dynamic range typically is more pleasing to the eye than something that's not. Think an old photo taken long ago with those little box cameras, those little box Kodak cameras. They took good pictures. They were great back then, but they don't have a lot of dynamic range.
Mm-hmm.
And dynamic range is a good thing in photography. To achieve that, what we do is we shoot a number of photos at different exposures. And when I first started, I was shooting in 3 different exposures, or 3 different brackets at different exposures. And the photos get taken by software generally. And those 3 photos are overlaid. And the end result is a really nice,
That's interesting.
high dynamic range picture.
Okay.
So that's where the HDR comes from. Now I'm shooting 5 brackets, and I'm not doing the software blended automation. I'm doing hand blended. So I have people that work for me,
Right.
thank goodness, that really know what they're doing and do a great job with editing, and I'd be lost without them.
Right. That's fascinating
Yeah.
how the photos come together.
It's
Yeah,
interesting
it's
to see
fascinating.
all 5 photos separately. You've got 2 that are darker than normal. You've got one that's normal, and then you've got 2 that are brighter than normal. And to look at those 5 and think that that's ever going to come out to something that's
Right.
worth anything, you just shake your head.
Right. And that's why you have a photographer, if you really want some good photos, because you can take photos with your iPhone, or you can even go buy an expensive camera and take photos. It doesn't mean, you don't have that knowledge behind it to really
Right.
take some good photos. And, like, especially with real estate photography, that's people search online first,
Right.
so that's what they're seeing first.
That's how you get people over
yeah.
the threshold to get in.
Yeah.
And it's bigger than just the HDR approach or the exposure bracketing approach. If you look at a lot of people that shoot with their phones, and last year a lot of people did because the market was so hot,
Mhm.
and the time to
Right.
sale was so fast. This year things have slowed down, and I'm seeing my business pick up more because homes are not moving as quick. So the photography really does help.
Right. They need that edge.
They do. They do. And it's honestly, it's a direct representation of your brand as a realtor.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
it's what not just to glorify my own business, but it's really to try to help you grow your brand as well.
Yes, because that is what it is. It is a life in pictures that everybody is searching online, and that represents me,
Right.
as a realtor. So, yeah, definitely. So I also know that you have different options or kits, marketing kits for your clients as well. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. As I move along through my notes, we have basic offerings where you can just order pictures, and I can deliver just the pictures. So I have a system that kind of serves as my backbone from a scheduling perspective, as well as from holding all of the photos and distributing all the photos. The marketing kit is an add to that. It's kind of another step, again, to help the realtor. So there's a couple aspects to it. One is when you buy the marketing kit, and for me, it's like a $15 add-on. It's really nothing in the cost of a typical photography job for a property. But it gives you a branded and an unbranded website. So think branded, you have your picture down on the bottom, you have your company logo, your name, and then all of the media will scroll through if you go to that branded website. It's set to music. It's cool.
Right.
It's easy to give that link to someone and say, go check this house out. And then, of course, your name and your email and your phone number is there. So when I see it and I want to buy it, I know who to call. Right?
Yeah.
The other cool twist that we have on this is we have a lot of social media templates that capitalize on all of the photos and all the work that we do. So it actually, you as the realtor can go pick a template for Instagram, for example, and you can pick 3 pictures, 5 pictures, whatever pictures you want. It's constrained by the size of the image you can display, but you can have some small number of pictures that really are what you want to highlight in a home, and you can take that and create that image to directly go onto social media. So think Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and you can put that out there
easily with the template.
Piece of cake.
Easily. Then that's huge. Just being able to do it, because honestly, figuring out that kind of stuff takes so much time that if we can just drop it in and post it, that's fantastic.
And I'm really excited to say
that's
that
awesome.
I've got an app now. Everybody's got an app, right?
I got an app.
I have an app for my business, Coastal ReFocus. I actually have one on the Apple Store, and I have one on Android. I can send you links.
Yes,
but the cool part of that app is that you can, once you sign in as a realtor, you can go to all of your listings and you can directly see those template formats. You can create and adjust those template formats, and you can go straight to social media from there.
Oh, that's cool.
Really handy.
Yeah, that is really handy, and so quick too. And that's great as a realtor for your client to be like, okay, look, we're up and running. Check it out. That's awesome. Yeah. So, okay. So we're going to take a break right now. After the break, we're going to discuss a little bit more about Tim's passion in real estate photography. So stay tuned, and we will be right back.
Hi, I'm Jess the San. I've been a canine liaison at Grand Strand Law Group for, 30 years? What's that? You don't believe me? I meant 30 dog years, of course. First rule of lawyering, read the fine print. Anywho, my humans at Grand Strand Law Group have a combined 20 years experience. I know, not as much as me, but that's in people years. So yeah, still pretty impressive. Real estate, estate planning, or probate, you need GSLG.
Grand Strand Law Group. Trust us, we have a dog.
Great Business Networking grew out of the idea that by creating lasting friendships within the community, we can make the community even better.
I was looking to network with professionals and to be able to refer my clients to somebody that I trust.
Well, it's really important to trust the members of the group because we really generate quality referrals, and to know somebody, be friends with them, and get that qualified referral is the key to success.
It is networking, but it doesn't feel like networking, and that is important to me. I come to the meetings, I have fun, I make great connections, and I help grow my business.
GBN, these are some of the best professionals in the market, and having that resource available to me, that's priceless.
Well, GBN is a network of business professionals that build long-lasting friendships that will not only grow my business, will grow yours as well. That's what referral marketing is all about.
GBN really is the most important marketing for your business. Check us out today.
All right, welcome back to GBN Live. I'm your host, Tracy Hansen, and with us today is Tim Nolan with Coastal ReFocus. He's also with the Coastal Grand Chapter of GBN. I would like to thank our sponsor one more time, Grand Strand Law Group. You can reach them at 843-492-5422. They have offices in Myrtle Beach and also North Myrtle Beach. Their website, grandstrandlawgroup.com. And if you have any questions for today's guest, Tim, you can type them in the comment section, and we'll do our best to get them answered on GBN Live. So Tim, again, thanks for joining us. We were talking about real estate photography before the break a little bit, and I know you have some different packages to choose from because you offer a lot of different services. So I'd like to talk a little bit about some of these services, like the 360 videos, and I believe they're pretty popular. Like, why are they getting so popular? You know, I mean, they are really cool.
They are. Excuse me. One of the things that I noticed, particularly during COVID, was that people were obviously a lot more reluctant to get out around other people. So virtual tours offered a safe way for people to take a look at a house, to kind of do a walkthrough without actually having to be around someone else, but still getting a chance to kind of see it.
Right.
There's a couple that I do now. One is through Zillow, and for some realtors, that's a bad word. But the cool stat behind that, if you look at the research, is that the homes sell. There's a number, and I'm not going to remember what the number is right now, but it's they basically sell in less time than if you don't have a tour. So they garner the attention that helps get what you want in a deal and get the house sold.
I believe it, because everybody's looking online first, you know. So, and to do a tour like that in the 360, the 3D tours as well. That's what that the Matterport camera, is that something you do as well?
Right. I do.
Okay.
I don't. So there's a special camera that you can buy from Matterport that's a high dollar investment.
Yeah.
I use something a little different, but it does work with the Matterport software. What it amounts to for me is that with the Matterport tour, I have to take a photo with my 360 cam on a monopod about every 4 or 5 or 6 feet throughout the house.
Okay.
So I sometimes will have to take upwards of 100 photos depending on the size of the house or the property. And the software, once you submit that or upload it, it knits what it calls knits all that stuff together. And it's one of the cool things that Matterport does that their competitor does not do is they create what's called a dollhouse view.
Yes.
So it's this cool little rendering of a small version of the house. Now, it doesn't have a roof and have all the exterior in it, but it's got all the rooms kind of stacked together, and you can scroll, you can kind of move it around on the screen, and you can click anywhere in it, and it'll bring that up as if you're standing in it and you're walking on a, you can walk around the house. It's cool.
I've seen that, the dollhouse effect. And it's like when, you had dollhouse and you kind of looked in and saw everything, all together.
Right.
And, it's kind of neat. But again, that goes back to the technology trends and staying on top of that and knowing, if that's something that, would work for real estate.
Right.
And it's pretty cool. I also hear about the real estate reels. So explain how that works, because that has to do with photos as well. So
so the I think running theme of this conversation is a lot about social media, right? One of the growing areas in social media is video. And I think we've all seen a lot of press over the last several years that video is coming. You need to, if you're not doing video, you're not going to be as successful.
Right.
I think reels help with that. twist it a little bit and we call it a property reel, but it's really nothing more than a walkthrough of a property, highlighting the features of the property and put to music. I'll use a gimbal. I do actually use my phone. That's probably a trade secret, but I do use my phone. You know, if you do use a gimbal to help smooth the movement, and you have it professionally edited so that everything kind of ties together and then all the transitions are smooth. And actually, in some cases, the transitions happen to the beats of the music. If you've got a good editor, it results in a really cool product.
Yeah. And so that's something you see like on Instagram and, you know, all the time.
And the cool thing about Instagram right now and TikTok is largely about the reels, but with Instagram, if you publish a reel specifically rather than a post or a story, the reel can garner more attention. They'll promote it more through their magic Instagram machine, so that you basically get more attention,
right?
Which is what we all want,
right? And I think that's also with video as well. That when you are posting videos, you're getting better placement, I guess,
right?
And, you know,
right.
that kind of thing. So that's good to know with Instagram for the reels, as well. And I told you before, I've been following you on Instagram for like a long time before I know it, before I even knew, because your photos are really good. I'm like, these are beautiful photos, and you know, they're all local, and I love it. So yeah, excellent. Yeah, really good. So you talked a little bit, you know, about editing and having a good editor. So you know, you can touch up photos a little bit here and there as well, and there's virtual staging that's going on, and I know with that, like even somebody can have a photo, but if they don't want that ugly dresser, they can have that removed, or you know, from
that's exactly
that's cool
it.
too.
Yeah. The examples,
take that laundry pile out of the corner.
No, I've been in houses. I'm sad to say that there's so much stuff. It's hard to have enough of a base of a room to create a clean room, versus the dirty room. But that's the exception than the rule, thankfully.
Yeah.
And it's really helpful. Think in cases of a car in the driveway that maybe you don't want in the driveway. I always try to ask my homeowners to move their cars, if they can, off to the street or something, so you don't see them. But if you got a cat in the window, there's just all kinds of things that it helps with. And yeah, the cool thing with virtual staging is I do work with a lot of builders, and a lot of times those homes, and even in cases without a builder, somebody's already moved out of the house, there's nothing in it. It's a lot of times difficult for a prospective homeowner to visualize what their stuff could look like in that space.
Yes.
So to see what we have is basically artists that use Photoshop and other tools to take a catalog of furniture, if you will, images of furniture that they can rotate, manipulate, and put into the space. They will add pictures, they'll add flowers, they'll add rugs.
It's amazing.
What I did yesterday, we put a fire pit and chairs out on a patio, or out on a patio, and we put a table and a little dining or a little lounge area on the screen room.
It's so neat.
Yeah. And it's you know, you think that it's not going to look good, but again, here we are back to technology, right? The technology has come so far, and the capabilities of these editors, and I really shouldn't call them editors, they're really artists. I have to be careful with that word, because I don't want people to think that it's just all make-believe, because it's not. And I strive really hard to make sure that what we do is authentic, and it's not fake.
Right. Yeah, because there are some photos out there that they're too glamoury, you know, they're too done up, and that's kind of not really where you want to be either. You know, you want to have a realistic representation, but you want it to look good.
Some people love it. I mean,
you know,
it's to each their own, but that's kind of where my head is.
But you're you know, as far as real estate, you're selling something, so you have to represent it.
Right.
You know,
what
correctly.
You don't want to happen is like what I think I've done with my own headshots. You know, somebody meets me and they don't recognize who I am because the headshot I have online is not the headshot that, you know,
you don't have long blonde hair.
That's right. You're 50 years older. Right.
All right. Well, that's that. The time where we do a rapid fire. So what this is a little surprise, but don't worry. We just ask you a bunch of quick questions just to kind of get to know you a little better, get off the subject a little bit.
Going off the script.
We're going off script. This is my hidden script. All right. So what was your first job that you ever had?
First job was in my, remember I said I was 57? My first job was in a machine shop that my dad owned. And I was just doing manual labor.
In a machine shop.
Just working in a machine shop, doing whatever dad told me.
Yeah, my dad had a hardware store. That was my first job.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Are you a night owl or an early bird?
I am, these days it feels like I go to bed at 9 o'clock and I want to wake up at 9 o'clock. So right. I tend to classify myself as an early bird.
Gotcha. Dog or cat person, or both?
Both.
Yeah. Do you have both?
We have both at home.
There you go.
Not necessarily because I chose them, but,
but
they were chosen and there they are.
Dark or milk chocolate?
Dark.
Okay. What's your favorite color?
Blue.
Okay. What's your favorite word or phrase?
Awesome.
I like it. I say that a lot too. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, favorite movie. I'm going to say something and I'm probably going to wish that I didn't say it. I'll just go with a classic. We'll start with the first Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Really good. I saw that in the movie theater back when.
1977.
Yeah.
I remember the day we waited in line to go see that.
I'm not that far off from your age. What's your favorite song?
Favorite song? And it's funny, I was thinking about the song that I want played at my funeral. That's kind of gloomy.
So take a note.
Yeah, well, I've already publicized that to my family, oddly enough. I know, this went really dark in a hurry, didn't it?
Well, maybe it's a good song.
I've been listening a lot. I listen to Sirius XM, so I've been listening to a lot of Tom Petty lately. So pretty much any Tom Petty you put on, it's just
so good.
And I can listen to it day after day.
So good. I saw him in concert when I was in my upper teens.
So I'm
yeah,
jealous.
It was really cool. Favorite vacation spot?
It's hard when you live at the beach, right? My wife and I had a great time in Paris.
Ooh.
And I think we'd like to go back to Paris sometime.
Nice.
And I'm sure we'd like to go to some fancy island somewhere too.
Right.
Like
go to the beach.
Yeah, right.
And what is your favorite mobile app?
Oh, it's my Coastal ReFocus.
There you go. It's so funny because I usually say to people, GBN has an app, but now you have your own. So yes, of course.
Sorry, Todd.
Of course, which I do want to get that information.
Yeah, of course.
The app you said can be, you're in the App Store?
In the Apple App Store or on the Android Play Store.
And on the Android Play Store, and it's Coastal ReFocus. So
just do a search, it should pop up.
Yeah. Perfect. And we have coastalrefocus.com, right, for your website. You can get in touch with Tim at 854-212-2383. Also coastalrefocus.com. And one more thing before we go. Why is referral marketing so important to you? And specifically, why did you choose to be a member of GBN?
So referrals to me are fundamental to growth. They're fundamental to my success in my business. I looked at numbers roughly last night, and I think from referrals through GBN alone, my revenue was up $10,000 last year from what it would have been. And this year it's going to be even more.
That's fantastic.
But that aside, I mean, that's the monetary piece. I think the friendship piece, the collaboration piece, the being able to link up with like-minded business people is just, it's worth so much more than that. Yeah, the 10,000 is great, right? But what I get from collaborating with the people that I see every week in GBN is worth a whole lot more.
Right. Friends first, business second.
Yep.
You know, it's true. It's true. It works. Well, thanks for joining us today, Tim.
Good to be here.
Yeah, I had a great time talking to you. Thanks for watching, everyone. And remember, if it's Wednesday, it's GBN Live. See you next time.